Okay, it's that time of the year again. Okay, midway through 2024, and we are gonna do a list. Okay, the top 10 songs of 2024, top 10 movies, top 10 albums. It's been a pretty good year so far, all things considered, I'd say. I'm not gonna say too much. Okay, let's just get into the list. Top 10 songs. We'll do that one first. So, number 10, Pad On, featuring The God Fahim by Makami. Never listened to a Makami album before. I do believe the one song, Pray for Haiti, on the Stellar Ray Theory did make it to my top 50 on the year that came out. And I didn't even listen to that album. But yeah, I love this song. That beat on this is just so goddamn. It's just vibing. It just makes me feel like a badass. Like I'm like riding. It's very car heavy for me. Like that beat is very car heavy. Not gonna get into it lyrically because that was not something I was able to do. Probably won't get too lyrically into any of these songs, to be honest. But next up here, L'amour de ma vie by Billie Eilish. Yeah, I'm gonna be pretty happy if there's an artist like Billie Eilish, one of the most listened to artists, like up there in the pop scene. I understand it's alternative, but a very big artist that is like this level of quality to me. Sorry to be so pretentious. But yeah, I really like this song. I like its jazzy elements to it. The vocals are killer. And obviously that transition, that really electronic transition in the second half is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Billie Eilish, she did it. Next up here, Sadness is a Gift, Adrian Lenker. Oh my gosh. If I recall, this song had something to do with like moving on from like a relationship and just like taking that sadness of things ending. Yeah, I have to watch the video again. Look, when I re-listen to music, I'm not always thinking about the lyricism re-listening to the music, but that stuff still does give value. But yes, a beautiful, beautiful folk track. She is it's just peak folk music, right? I used to be really into folk music when I was younger. Nowadays, it's only a very few amount that truly stand out for me. Next up, Teleharmonic by The Smile. Yeah, honestly, Radiohead, like The Smile, only number 7. Number 7 halfway through the year, eh? Yeah, I don't know. No, it's fine. But I will say actually though that there could have been other songs that made it onto this top 10 though. I think, right? Teleharmonic, Read the Room, and Bending Hectic are all like really big standout tracks on there. But Teleharmonic, this very slow track, and then very swooning building up on that. I think this is the one that kind of emotionally struck me the most when I was re-listening to it. But fuck, Read the Room is really close too. And then obviously Bending Hectic is a very emotional, progressive song. So yeah, very hard to choose. Guide Dog by Quadeca. I loved Quadeca's new album, okay? And that was the song that stood out for me the most. This is a folk song as well, though. Like, this is a very much so this alternative rap project, but this one, this song, I really felt this a passion emotionally on it. So, yeah, Quadeca really sold it there for me. Next up here, I literally listened to the song a few days ago, but it's already here. Reason Why, Sophie, Kim Petras, BC Kingdom. Oh my god, I've listened to this song so many fucking times already. It's so much fun. Kim Petras in BC Kingdom, just swagger. This beat goes through like a little bit of a different transition near the end too, but regardless of that, the beat is already extremely impactful. God damn, it's a lot of fun. Next up here, and honestly, this one or Not Like Us could have made the top 10, but Kendrick Lamar and his Drake diss tracks, and on is Meet the Grahams at number 4. Crazy. All right, because diss tracks aren't really always necessarily about the quality of music, right? It's more about the quality of the diss. But I feel like, this horrorcore like piano sound behind this like really sells on a mood. And Meet the Grahams too, out of all the songs, I don't know, it's hard. Like, Not Like Us is a very fun, like, fuck you song, but Meet the Grahams is like I'm killing you. Like, you're done, bud. You're fucking cooked. So there you go. Next up here, and I don't really know the lyrics of this song. I didn't really search into it, but Capricorn by Vampire Weekend. Wow, the Vampire Weekend album like really stood out for me. I had a lot of fun with this album, but this one, I would say it just, especially when those drums hit in, that guitar hit in right at that start. This one just emotionally hits me the most. I don't know what other song I would have put. I'm just gonna look on the album here and see if there's other songs I would have compared to this one. No, I'd say Capricorn's my favorite one. Classical though is really good. Connect too, and Hope. I think Hope was a grower. That one I think about a lot. Okay, next up here, we had to put a Blade song. Other Side featuring Sick Boy Rari. This one it just stuck. But, if we want to talk about how many of the fucking Blade songs could make it into the top 10, oh, bro, don't even get me started. This one's just got the most, like, impactful beat on here, like, really blowing me away. And, yeah, man, Sick Boy Rari is great on this. Sick Boy Rari isn't, I don't like him as much as Blade, but I think he really sells on this beat. So Sick Boy Rari wants to make another album and get like beats that sound like this. Fuck, dude, I'm like all for it. Next up, if I had to choose one song from Charlie XCX to be my number one, it would be Back to Back. Wow. This is the one song that's like very club heavy, very chaotic. It's either this one or 365. But I feel like this one shines for me the most. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's rattles my brain. It's not like Charlie XCX hasn't been able to do that before, but it just seems like she's really just upping that level a notch. And I love that this album seems to be, especially with that marketing, seems to be quite a good success, because I just wouldn't have expected specifically that sound to be selling. But yeah, there we go. There's the top 10 songs. Top 10 movies. Number 10, Chicken for Linda. This is a French movie, animated film, very short, like 70 minutes. Fucking cute movie. Cute ass movie. It's like this little girl who seems to be just, a little mischievous, right? And her mom is a single mother, like widowed, and, something ends up happening where, makes a mistake, is mad at her daughter, and then she's like, okay, like, how do I make it up to you? And it's like, you need to make me like this chicken, right? Like, this is chicken and peppers, like what her dad used to make her. And then we go through this journey on her having to get the chicken, and there's all these other sort of circumstances happening behind the scenes. But yeah, I'm just going to read my review here too. Yeah, so first off, the animation looks very, 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 very nice. Yeah, and it's just like a very wholesome film. Like, everyone comes together, and it's just all love. Next up here, Problemista. I think this is a debut film from a dude who used to work on SNL. I don't know, but I really like this film. It was fucking weird. It's like some dude immigrates here or to the United States, and he like wants to work at Hasbro. And he loses his job, and then to be able to get like it, because he's trying to get his like permanent residence. So then he ends up working for some fucking crazy lady, and oh my god, what did I write on my review here? Yeah, it has a lot of creative set pieces. Its characters are great, and yeah, Tilda Swinton, one of Tilda Swinton's best performances. Yeah, and I think the film has this awkward joy, is what I said. Yeah, I really like it. I really like Problemista. Definitely check that out. Next up, Riddle of Fire. I hadn't even like heard about this movie. Checked it out, and I was like, yeah, fucking, I mess with this. It feels almost like medieval-esque, like what, like it's like sort of vibe. It's aesthetic, but it's like these kids, who are just chilling, I guess. And the one dude's mom is like sick, and the movie starts. Should I even like spoil this? Yeah, I'll spoil it because it's like the first 5 minutes. So they like steal this like video game system They don't have access to the parental controls on the TV. So then they're like, oh, like, mom, like, we want to use the TV, and they're like, no, you have to be outside. It's like, please. And it's like, okay, go get me this fucking blueberry pie. I need blueberry pie because my, like, mom or someone in her family used to make it for her when she was sick. So then they go, but then, you know, they're missing an ingredient or some shit, and then that or no, like, something ends up happening where the journey, I'm not going to say too much, but the journey leads to them having to get to the pie, and then weird shit. Like, it's weird shit. It's funny. I love its wholesome nature. What else did I read here or write here about it? Yeah, the kids are funny as fuck. Like, they say some weird ass shit. It's just, it kind of reminds you of like an 80s sort of movie in a way. Yeah, really good time. The People's Joker. Oh, look, The People's Joker. I don't know if many people here like are gonna be able to see this movie because it's had problems getting like released. And I don't think it ever will, but there was a special screening nearby me, so I ended up watching it. And it's this movie where it kind of parodies the Joker movie in like a situation of this person being like a trans woman, right? You know, Joker is usually someone who is like, oh, society's bad, and they're just like a crazy person, right? This film is trying to suggest like, oh yeah, society is bad, and I'm a trans person, and because of that situation, like, you know, people treat me like I'm crazy. You know what I mean? Kind of seeing the problems with this world. I don't know if I need to say anything here. Yeah, the film too is like, it's so shoddily made, like, but it seems like it does that like intentionally. Like, it's very odd to look at. It's like a self-aware sense of humor with it, but again, I did say like its decisions to like not follow standards of modern filmmaking are sort of about like the fact that, you know, we're discussing like trans people's like exclusion to like society in many ways, right? And so this is like this rebellious like taking control of my narrative. It's sort of how it feels with me. Yeah, I really enjoyed that film thoroughly. Next up, Close Your Eyes. I haven't watched this film in a while, but this film was really weird. Spanish actor dude is like missing, and then they end up finding where he is. Yeah, and yeah, really weird. It's a very slow film, but like I just think it's like gripping. Like this character when they end up like, you know, finding him and so forth. Yeah, I don't really think I have much else to say about this film other than it's like pretty emotional. It's very real too. Like, it doesn't really feel dramatic in a film type of way. So I kind of respect that. Next up here, Mad Max Furiosa. Oh my gosh, bro. Oh my gosh, this one's a lot of fun. Like, set pieces are just nuts. Right. I don't like this one as much as Fury Road, but I like that this one is doing something much different. Right. Like, it's very much so this origin story of Furiosa, where, you know, we have this slow start where we get to like really understand this backstory of her and getting to know the wasteland a lot better than we ever have. Right. I think that this film kind of details the world building better than any of the other ones have. And yeah, of course, again, cars, sick, action, sick, and it's, you know, and again, this is still wrapped into like a traditional revenge film, and I think it works. Next up here, Yannick. This is a French movie, very short, like 67, 68 minutes, and it's fucking just oddball shit. It's like, it's all set in one fucking room in a theater, right? And the play is happening, and there's just some heckler who's like mad about the play. Yeah, it's, I don't know. Some people don't like it as much as me, but it's like just funny as shit. Like, and you know, trying to suggest like how art is like maybe treated in this world. You know what I mean? Like, in this world where we can treat art like pretentiously, like we sometimes forget about the fact that like art in many ways, like we, you know, forget how a normal, regular, like blue collar person like interacts with these things. but it's funny just like seeing that clash of like the art world, and some dude just trying to have a good night out who like fucking doesn't really care about any of that stuff. Yeah, it's funny. It's very good. Next up here, Challengers. Yeah. Challengers is a very psychologically, like, just what a mind fuck. It's shot extremely well, amazing performances. The score is easily like one of the best scores I've heard in my life. It's got a lot of like visual significance to the story too, like very much so, like a lot of like erotic imagery, and it's just a lot of like twisted fun. I even though Challenges is number 3, I think it's the one I think about the most. But yeah, definitely check it out. Next up, Dune Part 2 is, yeah, it's fucking masterpiece. Okay, like this film, visually it's beyond me. You know, like the amount of effort that would have had to have been put into this is beyond me. The first Dune movie I like, but it's really not up there for me. But this one kind of hits like all the right notes. And again, even though like this film isn't like, it's not like anything you haven't seen before either. Like, well, in the sense of like narrative, because this is just like very much so like a biblical story, right? But I think within its world, you really do get settled into this sort of, you know, we have this religious figure, Paul. Then obviously, you know, taking spice for like, it's just all like a capitalist endeavor, right? And yeah, another thing I said that I really liked about this film is that there's a lot of brevity in the screenplay, but it like allows things to be like very sharp, and I really like that. Yeah, there's a very lot of articulate details of things. Yeah, it's a pretty intense film. Next up, next film I'm going to choose for my number 1 of the year is Hundreds of Beavers. Hundreds of Beavers is easily the best film I've seen this year. It's like this black and white like film that has barely any dialogue, very low budget, and it basically has this dude who like lost his business or something, like he was drunk, and now he's living in the wild, and so he has to like kill animals to survive, so forth. He ends up finding this like shop where this woman lives with her dad, and it's like, oh, I have to do all these things, you know, get enough beaver pelts or other animals so that I can fucking marry this girl. And so he goes to like lengths for this, and this film basically is like a live action Looney Tunes, and it's just beyond me, where like every 15-30 seconds, let's say, there's this new visual gag. It's like the amount of ideas being wrapped into like a 100-minute movie is like extremely talented, extremely creative, and it's easily the best film I've seen this year. Easily. Are you ready for this now? Are we ready for the top 10 albums of 2024? These probably won't come to like much surprise. Anyways, number 10, Challengers. The soundtrack to the movie, Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross, just straight up this hardcore like techno music that keeps you grooving like throughout it. I do wonder if I would like this less if I hadn't seen the movie, because it does pair very well. But like just listening to it on your own time, not really attached to the music, like it does make you feel like you're in the club, but the club is like promoting violence. Like it's promoting like a lot of like intensity. Next up, Rich Axe Haitian by Matt Kami. It's just a very solid rap project. Old school beats for the most part on this. And yeah, I don't really have much to say about this because I still can't really speak to it on it lyrically. Obviously, from what I have heard lyrically, I do like his personality. I do like sort of the political mind view that he has placed for us. But yeah, it's just very laid back rap music. As much as it is hard, it's very smooth, I guess, is what I'd say. Next up, Diamond Jubilee, Cindy Lee. This is like a 2-hour long fucking album. Oh my gosh. Took me a while until I could finally have an opinion about this, but I love it. Like, there's a lot of great tracks on here. some of this sounds modern, but then a lot of this definitely sounds like some like fucking doo-wop shit from like the early 60s, but with like a lo-fi garage recording. So it's very odd, very unique. It sounds like something you found in a fucking, crate digging. But yeah, I love Diamond Jubilee. Worth your time. Next up, Hit Me Hard and Soft, Billie Eilish. Yeah, this is Billie Eilish's best album, I'd say. Oh, I haven't listened to the second one actually, but I've listened to her first and this one. And I don't know. I guess the first one I felt like really tried to take risks. This one is, we are certainly getting more of this sad Billie, more singer-songwriter stuff. Nothing too crazy. But at the same time too, shit's catchy. Shit is so well produced. Like, we know Phineas, yeah, like we know, right? Like, the production is beyond me for pop music. It really is. And that's why it's all the way up there. Next up, Wall of Eyes, The Smile. We got the boys from Radiohead. Okay, they know how to make music. Right, they're extremely, extremely talented people. If it isn't just for just Tom's wailing, just like the intricate detail that I get to hear from the musicians, it's really great, really, really, really great. Very tight. I think it's like 8-track album, right? These songs sunk in quite quickly for me. But only number 6. Like, what the hell? I actually moved up recently to number 5, Bright Future by Adrian Lenker. I believe that was number 6 or number 7. But this is a very tight, concise folk album. And I think I just feel so light listening to this. I feel light. I feel emotional, right? Makes my eyes water up. Just there's a lot of beauty. There's a lot of vulnerability in Adrian's music. Yeah. Oh my gosh. She's a very personable person, I'd say, lyrically. And I think that shines out. Next up here, what do we got? Scrapyard by Quedeca. Yeah. I when it comes to like this emo pop type of stuff on here, or emo hip hop stuff, like I'm certainly enjoying that. And then I'm certainly enjoying sort of the more emotional tracks. Guys all over the place. And I think that's what's really impressive to me, is that there's so many genres blending on an album, but it doesn't feel jarring. Like, it's very weird that he can contain that on a project. And then obviously, lyrically, him having like relationship troubles, it's a very tight, concise project that I like, that I can sway with my emotions throughout it. Yeah, really good. Next up, Only God Was Above Us, Vampire Weekend. It's I think there's maybe not 10 tracks on here. Yeah, just imagine an album where 10 tracks are all 10 out of 10s, okay? What do you want me to say? This album, to me, like, listening to it, like, this really does make me feel like it's some album that's considered a classic from decades ago. Like, that's sort of the quality that I am uplifting it as. But yeah, I'd say one of the main things for me on why I think this album really stands out is just the multi-varied instrumentation that really shines out. You can really pay attention to the details within that production. And yeah, it's quite catchy stuff. Like, little moments are catchy in the instrumentation. Yeah, it's beautiful stuff. And I would say, yeah, it is definitely their best album. I wasn't fully sold on that when it first came out. Like, I think I was more so just like in disbelief. Like, I was like, no, like it can't be better. But now I feel like it is. Next up, Cold Visions, Blade. I've listened to this too many times. Like, too many times. Okay, like, it's actually kind of annoying. Like, be in the car doing anything, it's just like impulse to put this album on. And I usually put the album on shuffle too, like 30 tracks, just shuffle it, see what we get. Yeah, it's brilliant. This is like some of the most aggressive beats I've gotten from Blade. This is the most like sort of like in your face, like lyrically I've kind of felt from him. He's very sad. He's very fucking depressed on this album, I will say. But there is such this sense of like growth from him too. Not like good growth though. I'll just say like, okay, I've grown, like I'm 30 years old now, like blah 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 blah. But it's like, I'm still addicted to drugs, like my life is still not fucking perfect, like I'm still an alienated like fucking creature on earth. So it's like, shit, You know what I mean? But yeah, it's beyond me to get a 30-track album like this. It's absolutely beyond me. Great transitions within songs as well. That's something that really stands out if you do listen to this front to back. Yeah, it's I'm not sure if it's my favorite Blade album though. That's another thing. I'm not sure if it's my favorite Blade album. I think it's like maybe tied. You know, like I think Ice Dancer or Ever Since are kind of around its range, right? But you know, whatevs. It's amazing. Next up, Brat, Charlie XCX. I had to give Brat number one. I really did. Like, every song just really stands out on its own. You're making this pop album where every song sounds uniquely different. Every song kind of stands out for me for different reasons. And I love this, like, from what she's done before in her career, and she's just amping it up with the energy. Okay, I sense that the more confidence in her with this. Yeah, it's just such a bold product. It really is. And it's something that I'm going to be obsessively like re-listening to. Yeah, like, and for me, like, the first three on here are 10 out of 10 albums, and to be halfway through the year and have these albums, like, I don't really know if anything is going to overtake that top three. To me, I'm like, fucking no way. Unless Frank Ocean drops or Playboi Carti drops, I don't think it's going to happen. But anyways, there you go. There you have it. That's the top 10 of things this year for June, for the mid-year. Yeah, you know, I'll have my video for everything at the end of the year, but I'm gonna continue on. Okay, for other videos, you can put a comment down below if you ever want to see any other lists or anything, not just reactions. You can always ask. All right, peace.